Hi everyone, my name is Rain Motes Greer, and for my presentation today, I've decided to answer the question, what dynamic or issue of social change is most compelling to you? What issue of social change matters to you and why? So I chose to focus on this question because I have always been active in fighting for people of color or social injustices like that. And after taking this course, I've become passionate in the injustices of people of color and fighting towards a solution for them. So to begin answering that question, I'll start by saying the issue of social change that compels me the most is the injustices of people of color. More specifically, the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality that is involved. The social injustices of our Black brothers and sisters and that they have endured have occurred for decades. However, it became an entire movement in 2019 and 2020 after the wrongful deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. But just 7 years prior to their deaths, the case of Trayvon Martin's death and his murderer's court case were headlines on the television for similar reasons. That was the beginning of the fight for justice. George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were just the straw that broke the camel's back. In the article, The Power of Black Lives Matter, it states that once news of Floyd hit, people and corporations who wouldn't normally involve in racial issues were all saying Black Lives Matter. Now, obviously, all the support for Black Lives Matter didn't happen overnight. It took time, years of wrongful deaths, racist acts, and police brutality, but it was finally being able to be engraved in people's minds, creating a societal effort for change. These subtle changes didn't come from blaming one person or from casting ballots for human rights. Movements like Black Lives Matter and real change occur when people come together to demand rules or actions be taken to make sure our brothers and sisters, people of color, are safe. If people like me didn't join forces to make their voices heard, we wouldn't be seeing actions being taken to better our world for the people of color. One big action that is a great example of how coming together can make a change is the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. In an article written by Congressional Digest, it talks about the act and how it is an effort to change rules and training for police officers, as well as to take accountability for their actions, such as wrongful deaths. The goal is to ensure nothing like Floyd's death happens ever again, and that act being proposed only happened because people fought back. A quote from the article, the optimism and uncertainty, paints the perfect picture of why activism for social issues like racism matter. It states, quote, "Revolutionary change does not come as one cataclysmic moment, but as an endless succession of surprises, moving zigzag towards a more decent society." A piece from this class that really resonates with that quote, as well as the injustices that I work for, is the book The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This book was written in 2017, but it rings and resonates really well with the social injustices of people of color today. The main character's Star, her best friend Khalil, got murdered by a police officer after he racially profiled him. And usually there wouldn't be any sort of change, but she spoke up, and by her speaking up and going to court, it helped create some sort of ricochet effect of her community and town working towards getting the bad people off the street, holding the police accountable, and, making their voices heard for her friend Khalil. And I just think that that book really is what brought up my need to continue fighting for the Black Lives Matter movement. To conclude my presentation, I want to go back to the question I was answering. Why does this matter to me? It's simple. Black lives matter.